How's everybody doing this morning? I hope well, because I sure am. I'm looking at this guide right here, and it says warfighter focused, and I'm with my family. This could be the easiest speech I've ever given. I come to you from a slightly different perspective, and boss, thank you very much. I don't deserve all those accolades. I'm a knuckle dragon fighter pilot. I'm not ashamed of it. I stand tall in front of you and tell you that because I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of the Air Force. The mission of the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win. Period. If you're not here to do that or support that, then you're in the wrong business. When I came out of pilot training, and I was looking at what I wanted to fly, I'm like, that air superiority thing looks cool. They go, oh man, don't go to the Eagle, man. They'll wash you out. They eat their young. They're tough. And I go, I like it. That's the attitude you have. And when I got there, I'm like, man, right now, I'm just gonna ride. This is tough. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna make it? This little IP came up to me, so I looked down upon him as he tells me I'm doing the ride again with the smallest things. He goes, Lieutenant, we are the keeper of the ROE. I didn't know what that meant. ROE, acronym-wise, is Rules of Engagement. And what he's relating to is air superiority. F-15C, mission, air superiority. Single role, single seat. Questions? And so what they do, they hold you to the highest level of excellence and dedication. That's what I bring to you guys today. I have been a customer of your service for almost 20 years. And my cherished skill set that I love. That's why I've grown to love you as a community. I loved you before because at the weapons school, I primarily got to work with weapons, 13 Bravos, and I worked with them a lot. But now I see the full team effort, and I'm totally impressed. 3 things I want to talk to you about today at time together. Flexibility, innovation, and dedication. 3 key things. History lesson. I promise I'm not going to go wrong. When you're talking air power, you have to understand, number 1, where you are, number 2, where you came from, and number 3, where you're going. So history lesson, Wright brothers fly, we get airborne. We operate in a domain that mankind is not supposed to be in. Think about it, we take it for granted now, but we fly machines in the air. We're not meant to fly, even though my name is Bird, right? So the War Department got a hold of after the Wright brothers was like, what are we gonna do with this? World War I, they launched balloons, right? They're looking across the Maginot Line. They reconnaissance, and then what I say, innovation. Where we go? We're going to build airplanes. We're going to put guns on those airplanes. SPAT 21. Where? Langley, 1st Pursuit Wing, 21st, 27th Pursuit Squadron, and we're going to go shoot those things down. Frank Luke Jr., 1st ace, 17 kills in 2 weeks before he lost his life because he's a little too aggressive. World War II is the best lesson. So in the 30s, I have nothing against academics, I love them. Great thought is great in the classroom. But then when the rubber meets the road, you have to adjust. So in the 1930s, at Maxwell Air Force Base, at the Air War College, they came up with all of these tactics on how to use air power. People like, do you use air power for total annihilation, or do you pinpoint? So we're going with the total annihilation thing. Bomb them into the Stone Ages, and they will concede. You all know some people, deserve a beatdown, especially if they're enemies. So we have these bombers, and we go, they can fly so high up here that no one can get there. What happened? Germans were getting there. They were getting there. That's why more airmen died in the skies over Germany than any of the ground troops, because they were being shot down like crazy. So what do we do? Flexibility is the key to what? Air power. Flexibility. First of all, the generals weren't listening, and they kept sending them more and more airmen dying. They go, we have to do something different. So those generals got fired, they brought up a bunch of war fighters and said, we're going to create the P-51, and then you're going to escort these bombers in enemy territory. And then after the bombs are dropped and that bomber is safe, I want you to drop down and anything German you see, you strafe. That's what it's about. That turned the tide of the war. That's why in Great Britain right now, they're not speaking German, because that was about to happen from them. That's flexibility. That's seeing something, adjusting to it, and going. Vietnam and Korea, we got our nose bloodied. Another example of, we now have these long-range missiles that are shot from beyond visual range. They won't get there, so we're not going to put a gun on the F-4. Guess what? We're getting there. So they had to put a gun on the F-4. Funny enough, when the F-22 came out, it's so cool and you can't see it, we're not going to put a gun on it. But getting to our time, the early 1970s in the Pentagon, Colonel John Boyd, basically through the staff work we all hate to do, created the best Air Force the world has ever seen in history. AWACS, single role missions of air superiority, fighter bombers, long-range bombers, interdiction. And we proceeded to lay down a butt whooping over the next, up to now basically, but starting in 1990. I read an article before I came in here. From 1976, it says the E-3 is the most expensive aircraft the Air Force has ever seen. And we're not sure what the mission is going to be. It was hilarious to see. But in 1990, we beat down the Iraqi Air Force bad. F-15C is 104-0 as far as a record. Never been shot down in combat. That's the excellence I'm talking about. Every single one of those people were talking to people like you, that you support. Allied forces, I was part of those planning missions that went down to there. We were scared of the SAM system. We were going to lose half our forces. We beat them down in no time. And then in 2003, they buried their aircraft. How embarrassing is a country? They wouldn't even come up and fight us. That is what I'm talking about with the dedication to excellence for what you guys provide. The number one objective of any CFAC, Air Force Commander in an AOR, number one is always what? Gain and maintain air superiority. Number one. How many of you guys think about that today? Why not a lot? Because we've had the luxury of having that for 26 years. So when you hear us talk about the high-end fight, China, Russia, those type of things, that matters. Because after World War I, they said never again. They didn't know 20 years later they're going to be in a war that costs twice the lives. So if you're not ready, who is ready? So you guys, starting back to the logistics chain and supply, MOF. Where's ECP? Where's the MOP? There you are. You provide the forces of maintenance squadron, long-range maintenance, AMXS, crew chiefs launching the jets. Thank you for what you do for your superiority. Air crew, starting with the front of the jet. You didn't fly that thing. Wouldn't happen. Thank you for what you do for your superiority. Weapons. Weapons, guys, you get to be the tip of the spear. And that's not only in the air, that's also for the CRCs. Same thing. You're talking to the fighters, you're providing that for your superiority. Technicians on the plane, on the ground for the OMIs. None of it would happen if it wasn't for you. ACNS programmers. None of it would happen if it wasn't for you. That's where you are right now. I hope you understand that, and I hope you understand the importance of what you do. Civilians. Who could imagine without security right there, we wouldn't fly. Canadians, our partners, 42 people here, serving side by side. All these great ladies right here, I see what they do for the wing every day. I mean, supporting the front offices. So never forget where you are and why you're here. And be proud of it. Be proud of it. So I hung up my G suit a few years ago, and it won't be long. I'll be taking off this uniform. I just want to say I'm proud to be here with you guys. Thank you for what you do. I'll leave you with 3 statements. The mission of the United States Air Force is to fly, fight, and win. The 552 air control wing is a key enabler to air superiority, air dominance. And you are the keepers of the ROE. Let's award some awards. Thank you, guys.